Oh, Kissay!
Hello fans, welcome back to the LCO. It is time for us to get into Menulog mealtime before we jump into our second series of tonight. This is my favourite time to be a part of any of these broadcasts, Menulog mealtime, because we get to start to talk about food instead of esports. And that's always my favourite part about every single one of these broadcasts. You guys at home, you want to be a part of Menulog mealtime? Menupog in chat. You guys can win yourself $30 voucher from our friends over at Menulog. That would be a nice little dinner for you guys to enjoy the remaining of these matches as well. So as tradition here on the LCO, I believe that Mac likes telling you guys what International Day it is. So today, it is International Vanilla Milkshake Day. So
we did that yesterday.
Oh,
Mac's been up to no good.
No.
Is
Mac
Mac
been up to
cheating?
no good?
Mac has not been up to no good.
cheating.
Mac wasn't cheating. I read the date wrong. So
Mac's
hold on.
been good.
Hey, we're doing it live.
Hold.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live. Okay, apparently it only goes to the 20th of July. All right, we're going to do International
Pizza
Burrito Day.
Burrito?
International Burrito Day.
Yep.
Interesting.
So International Burrito Day. What's the burrito order and why?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a burrito noob. So
Any
You are a
bean
Mexican
haters?
food noob.
I am a very
Hey,
big
but you
noob.
wanted it today, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is true.
How was the one you got today?
I think what is a Mad Mix
Yeah.
is always a good naked burrito bowl because I've been craving it since week 1 because we've had it in week 1 and I get the no beans and I don't know. I feel like it's so healthy. Is Mexican food healthy? Can someone teach me right now?
I assume it's healthy, but I don't know with any food.
I stopped
that
listening after
order
no
that
I
beans.
see
make
veggies, I
myself.
see protein. I'm
No
a happy
beans.
man.
I don't know. I don't know how you can have.
Nah, we're both on the no beans
No
train.
beans.
Why?
Yeah, yeah.
No
There's
beans.
solidarity here.
What's
And then
the-
we're on the no
It's the
sour,
aftermath.
sour cream.
So it's not it coming in, it's it going out.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. That's enough graphic material that everybody has.
You had to put it that way.
I don't know. At least he has a reason for it.
Must mean
I
you
know
fart a
this-
lot.
I thought
Don't you
sweet
fart a lot
corn.
with
I
beans?
thought sweet corn was the thing we got worried about. Ah, forget it.
Don't you fart a lot with beans?
Forget it.
Am I wrong?
That's what I heard.
We've missed
Yeah,
it.
I just assumed.
We're
Listen,
going
if that's
next.
wrong, I'm back on the bean train.
You guys
Maybe you're
are
thinking of
absolutely
baked
wrong again.
beans.
I mean,
Like
they're
English
both
baked beans.
aren't they?
I
What's the
mean,
difference?
I'm not going to differentiate between any of these different beans about whether or not they cause flatulence or whether or not they, go out wrong. But either way, let's start talking
This is
about
top tier
Kanga.
discussion.
Skimmy, just talk about Kanga.
someone in
Just
chat
talk
tell
about
us?
Gravitas for us, please.
I can talk
Please.
about Gravitas. We can certainly do that. We can salvage this in some way. Yeah, let's look at this roster. So, I mean, you come into this one. Obviously, Toppy has the most fans in the entire world. A VOD happens. He goes on the screen. Forget about us talking. Forget about us being looked at. Everybody just wants to look at him. He's been an interesting start. Certainly has challenged some of the best and looks like a really exciting player to keep our eyes on. So I'm very keen to see how his continued growth happens. Llenia is still a bit of a shaky start, right? Waiting for him to really showcase. He's a bit of a humble king. Said that, look, people know me as a bit of a hacker on one trick that has no hands. But look, hey, end of the day, you've made it here for a reason. So I believe in the process. I think really we liked what we saw them play in the bot lane in particular, right? They played the Misfortune. They went for the Renata. In an isolated 2v2, it had a lot of merit, right? It certainly could look to try and shut down that Aphelios. But the big concern for us is when it groups up, right? How does that bullet time ever happen when you have the likes of a Wukong, a Sejuani, all the knockups in the world? So they've got potential. They're just missing something special.
And I guess the question is, what is that something special then, right? Like, what do these guys need to kind of pull together so they can get themselves towards potentially a playoffs or even try and make a dent in some of these top 5 teams?
I mean, for Gravitas, I think there's a lot, but it's basically the fundamentals first and foremost, right? If there's one thing that I would say Gravitas need the most to really bring back their campaign in this split, it is to understand the first 15 minutes of the game better, because that's where they're losing. Yesterday they lost at 8 minutes flat. There was a game the week prior where I feel like they lost 5 minutes in just because they tried to play the map and lost and forgot the farm.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, maybe that might be able to, change their fortunes. And hey, if they've got something to work on, and they've got plenty of games here left in the split to be able to do that. So on the other side of the rift today, we do have Mammoth, and this is a team that, so far already, beating Peace is, it's a good scalp on paper, but, the question is, was it kind of an overperformance from Mammoth? Was it an underperformance from Peace? I think today is really going to be a good show for us to see whether or not they can deal with Gravitas relatively easily.
we do see the addition of Mikru for tonight's roster, which is a change out for Fury. I thought Fury was actually doing pretty well under Lissandra and Galio himself, beating Peace with that comp. But I think everyone on Mammoth has been playing potentially well, because with the addition of Papryze and Ali G, they have been seeming to be more of a team. They have these better team fights where I think the only mistakes that they make are these macro mistakes where they get caught sometimes, and I think those are preventable and is easily changed. But with the addition of Mikru, we do know that he is an Akali player, plays a bit of Zoe, plays a bit of mages, and I'm excited to see what he has in store for us.
We also know that he's friends with DaJeung and plays Zoe. I'm just going to throw those two things out there for the match today. We could have a Zoe battle in mid lane. Who knows if it'll be banned or picked, but that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. I typed his name into Google, and the first thing that came up is rank 1 Yone Os. And I thought, I'm excited already. Make it happen. So clearly a very different champion pool to Fury. So maybe a stylistic way of like beat up your mate in the Rift and let the world watch.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great stage to be able to beat up your mates here in the LCO and be able to really kind of showcase your skills. And I'm really excited to see what they can do here on the Rift. I'm really excited to see what this next video is going to be about. So let's join and watch together.
It's neck and neck between the bottom guys. I would say it's way more entertaining that way. Kings are the bottom 4. I definitely think Direwolves has been taking that spot.
Really different roster from last split, and I think they're definitely going to shoot ahead of everyone. I think they'll easily take top 3, and I think we'll definitely be up there with them.
We kind of changed up the rosters from split 2, and we've improved a lot. So I feel like we're definitely above Kanga and Gravitas. And it just comes under the spot where, like, how far above are we compared to them? And you'll see the week where we'll verse Gravitas and Kanga, and we'll should just 2-0 the week.
Funnily enough, I think Mammoth is a team that might break out the bottom 4. That being said, one of the top 4 teams has to fall out. I think their roster has a lot of good players, so I think it'll be a really fun game to play, to be honest. It is favored for them to win, but I think it will be a very close game and be something fun to watch.
Mammoth are going to be versing Kanga and Grav, and right now those 3 teams are pretty much sitting pretty close to each other, pretty neck and neck, so depending on how those games go, will pretty much shape the bottom side of the table for the rest of the split.
Message to DaJeung, definitely the strongest member on your team. I think with Mammoth, all of our members are strong, so it's going to be a hard fight for him.
Hey Mammoth, super keen for our game next week, but at the end of the day, your ADC's first name is James, so looks like we're going to get the win.
Best of luck. Sorry you guys are going to have to cop the L this week, unfortunately, but hopefully you guys can get some wins in the future.
That's a lot of flame on a
James.
first name.
I don't get it.
My middle name is James. I feel.
Why is your
I
name
feel
not
attacked.
John or Smith or Adam
Or like Barry. Barry's a cool
or Bob?
name. I don't understand. Like, that is some next level smack talk that I don't know if it's top tier or if it's like really bad.
It's like so vanilla, it's crack up. It's like, yeah, your name's James. Oh,
Yeah, get owned, James. You can suck it. Either way, we've got a wonderful member of Gravitas here on the line, so let's bring him in and have a chat.
All right, Toppy, you're not just
Hey,
the
guys.
best top laner in OC. You're also jacked as heck. You will out bench people, and you will out macro people, and you will out lane people in the LCO. You are the multi-face talent of the new generation, Toppy. Welcome to the LCO.
Thank you, Kitty. Appreciate it.
I guess
That's a banger, that one.
that is a very good copy pasta that's been floating around. I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot more. My question actually does pertain to the Twitch chat. How have you gotten so many fans in the Twitch chat? Like, what is it?
So, like, before my first game, I sent my mates a link. I was like, oh, boys, come watch. And I thought they'd just, like, I don't know, while they're, like, chatting and, I don't know, playing whatever other games, maybe have it on their second monitor. But turns out they're, like, devoted in the chat and just spamming it. I'm like, oh, you calm it down a little, eh? Like, no one can even speak. They're like, nah, man, we love you too much. So I was like, all right. I
We
guess it could be
definitely
worse,
see
like,
the love being
Yeah,
spread around
real
in
love.
the LCO Twitch chat. And tell us about the
Yeah.
experience for joining the LCO, because I believe it's your first time playing in competitive.
yeah, I mean, I've played amateur, like, with my university team, but it's, like, hella different. I mean, like, in amateur, I just stomp everyone, and now I'm getting, like, stomped a little bit. So it's definitely, like, a different vibe, but Gravitas Glory, so...
Gravitas Glory indeed, Toppy. We're gonna let you go and have you prepare for your game, and best of luck, Toppy.
Alright, thank you so much, Kitty. See you guys.
So yeah, is there like a a GG you can do for like Gravitas Glory? Is that the wrong?
Oh, that's a bad attempt, bro.
Gravitas Glory.
Dude.
Mac is just watching at home like, we're back to the gang signs.
We had an F yesterday. We've just gone down the alphabet.
This is how we get Mac back into the chair, is I just get myself fired in match number 2. But either way, you guys at home can be a part of the broadcast as well with your Dare fan vote. You can use your channel points to predict for this series. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Gravitas Glory or is it going to be Tuss Up? That's the real question in chat right now. And you guys can use those channel points and win more and be able to spam them in the chat after this. And now, with the Dare fan vote, it's time for our own predictions here. I think this might be a little bit more of a 50-50. Okay, it is all just straight Mammoth. Okay, I thought maybe we might have a Gravitas fan here.
I tried this last split. I did. Every time Mammoth played Gravitas, because the year prior it was a 50-50. You never knew who was going to take it, and it was almost 50-50 in map record, and every time I picked Gravitas, they lost. So I'm done.
Okay.
Until they start winning again. I've tried predicting for them, and I've suffered the consequences.
A little bit too much of a curse there for Rusty on the end. But I mean, I think looking at this, obviously, if you just look at straight up records, you probably are looking towards Mammoth, considering, they took down Peace. You go, okay, these guys have some teeth in them. They've got a brand new mid laner that's coming in here. Maybe he might be the spark for them. But I feel like that this really could be a learning experience for both these two teams, both relatively inexperienced rosters. You're looking across some of these players, they might have a bit more experience, but looking at this could be a real scrap.
Yeah, I mean, no, you go for it if you want.
Oh my god, thank you. Yeah, this could be a real scrap for both teams, but I believe the addition of Papryze is just giving them that little bit of edge of veterancy because they have someone to lead them, and I think Mammoth just overall, they play more like a team and they make less early game mistakes compared to Gravitas, where Gravitas is really struggling to find the fundamentals in League of Legends, and I think that's just the most important thing when you do want to play a perfect game from LCO.
Yeah, it's all about the fundamentals. It's all about dotting your I's and crossing your T's, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about the champ select as well. So let's jump into it for game number 2. Gravitas and Mammoth. Let's go.
Yes, let's go. Let's see if Gravitas can finally get that first win, because it eluded them all of split 1. They 0-3 up against them. We've certainly seen it be one of those banger matchups in the past, so let's see if it can return to that former glory.
Lots of ADCs looking like they're going to be up and available here as well, depending on this third ban from Mammoth. The Fiora has been taken away. Papryze about to insta-lock that Sejuani real
hyped.
quick. So we've banned the Fiora. Woo! We'll see what they choose to lock. Gravitas with a lot of choices. We mentioned a lack of ADCs being banned this time around. Center comps are still up.
Sure.
Center comp's still being up. I would be surprised if it is the Ezreal locked in. Wondering where Voice is going to go here now in response, because Kalista, very achievable into an Ezreal lane.
Oh, absolutely. Kalista, Kaiser, whatever you want. Obviously, had that insane Kaiser game the other day. So, wouldn't be surprised if he was to try and play something with a lot of aggressive tendencies to abuse the fact that him and LAG have formed a rather formidable partnership in their only few weeks of playing together here in a brand new split. So, we'll see what they go for. There is the Kalista. Love to see a little bit more of that, right? You were begging for it, given that globally, everybody else is playing it.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It is a very popular champion across the entire world on this patch 12.11 that we are on. Kalista is mostly paired with Renata, but I don't think that Renata is a must pick with this combo at all, right? There is more flexibility there than forcing a 1-2 red side lock-in like you get with a Lucian Nami, where you can just lock in that duo and it doesn't matter. Like, you see Lucian, you know it's Nami. Gravitas on the opposite side here, again, you would expect the Karma, but there's flexibility with the Ezreal pick, because you could go for the Bard, the Nautilus, right? You could be more flexible in how you want to play. So far, of course, with the Wukong ban, Skimmy, Viego locked in, it does go down the list now. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like, not that, wouldn't be surprised to see normal junglers. We've gone for Udyr. Udyr with Karma, I guess, can work. Udyr with Lulu also could probably work.
Yeah, I've heard murmurs online about people saying that Udyr is returning to a former bit of glory where his full clear is insanely good. And then suddenly you become an absolute menace that can literally 1v9. We had that meta for such a long time, right? The likes of that and a Hecarim together. Chem Tank, eat your heart out. Off that went for a while. A very long time.
Yeah, okay.
You get the Yuumi. It's not the Karma, but it's pretty much the same kind of thing,
speed,
right?
and Chantar, right? Like something that enables the Udyr. What it doesn't provide is as much lane strength. So a little bit less priority to be seen potentially in that lane, but Kalista now with any champion is probably just going to have a good time bottom. Can be hyper aggressive, can play for team composition with whatever you would like here for Ali G. And we've just Kayle into bans. So Fiora's gone. Kayle, I do think, does fine into the Sejuanis that we've been seeing top lane, but they're going to ban it. Which, by the way, for everyone, I've spoken to coaches working over in North America right now. Juve's on that list. Kayle is one of the list of champions that can deal with Sejuani. But we're going to see that one banned away. I wonder what they ban next with it, because you want to get rid of early aggressive laners.
Yeah, what else are you really concerned about, right? You're looking at
Gangplank.
champions like a GP. Do you consider a Gnar once again, right?
Gangplank
Obviously,
would be
Toppy
banned.
looked ever so good on it. Yeah, GP is already gone, absolutely. So you go down that list and you think, what else gives Toppy the aggression to try and shut down this Kayle? But it's just so crazy to me that we've only seen, well, this will be the second performance of the Kayle. It has only been in Papryze's hands. And he says, just trust in me, boys. We will have that late game
Do you
insurance.
ban Silas because DaJeung plays it? And you've got a Kayle comp? You know, like, it makes you wonder. It's going to be the Swain. Swain obviously is still quite a strong champion, has seen some nerfs given how strong it was on 12.10. I don't think it's removed Swain from existence by any means, but they also nerfed the Leandries, right? They made things a little bit more difficult for Swain to exist. It's not just the full nerf on him. Items as well. Nautilus taken off the board, so they're going to get rid of the aggressive options bottom. And Victor?
Scaling option in the mid lane
Pen
as well.
Victor?
Victor seems like an oddball one. Has been played a fair bit here by Mikru
Does
in
that-
solo queue, but
Yeah, but does that not just mean that DaJeung goes Corki and he's saying you can't play Azir or something, right? Like he's trying to get rid of like one of the scaling options and then pick his preference? Very interesting. Kalista Rakan actually is one of the nicest combos that we haven't mentioned. Kalista Rakan has insane engage while still kind of filling the Enchanter style.
sure.
I believe it was T1 playing in like a Rift Rivals 2020 where I first saw this. It was annihilating the LPL, which is a very odd specific throwback. But they were the team that I saw running this comp, and it was devastatingly strong. Their engage is just bottom lane, just as those two. Basically does it all for the whole team.
So enough angles then for the likes of Viego to get excited and guarantee that stun to try and get the ball rolling with those resets, not to mention the Kayle later on into this one. But there it is, right? So Victor being banned away. They do go for the Corki. Didn't want to go for that random
No.
handshake. Are they really trying to say you
pick
have to
Gnar.
play Azir? I dare you. You won't. I'm thinking it's Gnar. Thought that would have been banned away. They go for the Swain ban instead. But does Toppy have one more surprise up their sleeve?
I suppose other options for Toppy, he is a Vladimir player. I'm sure Camille will be playable. He did it yesterday and looked pretty solid on it.
Sure.
So in terms of options for Gravitas, I do feel like that is one of those choices there. Curious to see where exactly they choose to go. Obviously, we aren't continuing that draft just yet. It's us on your screen. So
Yes.
pretty clear indicator that
It's back to the
we're
couch.
not the draft.
No, we're not.
So we'll get back into that one as soon as possible, just remaking the lobby.
That we certainly are. So from what we know, we've got ourselves a Kayle, we've got ourselves a Corki, we've got scaling options on either side, right? Final pick on either side is what we're really looking to try and round things out with, right? I was thinking you probably need a little bit more engage on the side there from Gravitas, hence why the likes of a Gnar, a Camille. You said Vladimir, but you know, is that really your conventional engage, right? That's more of
No.
a case of like, lay down the carpet, let's just go absolutely ham and see if we can pop them in that second.
Yeah, it's more like team fighting for objectives, right? You
Yeah.
use the Hemo Plague, you have Corki throw magic damage out, and suddenly your team fight damage is overwhelming, but that's not engage. So I think the question is more, do Gravitas feel confident enough to win with a poke composition?
Sure.
Because they've drafted what Order had, which is the Ezreal Corki poke, like play around package, have a Mega Gnar, which is like timed windows of being able to team fight, but not generally a team fighting comp. I think that's what I would like to see the most from them. Camille, again, feels the same fantasy, right? Of being able to split push primarily, team plays as 4, then you can team fight with the Hextech Ultimatum.
Yeah, and it would certainly fit the bill of what we sort of come to know of Toppy, right? Is he's very keen to try and take those 1v1s as well as also group up with the team and be quite explosive in those flanking angles as well. So obviously big question marks to see exactly how Gravitas will round out their composition. But I guess let's just, you know, return to that bot lane once again, right? All the options were available. There was a center there. Both teams have completely bypassed it and said, we could have gone it. We value Ezreal that much more, even when it's not banned. So bit of an interesting conversation. Maybe it's a case of it is subjected to these teams, right? Where we talk about the fact that you need those early game spikes, and a champion like an Ezreal and Kalista can provide that.
I suppose so, but like Senna with strong lanes can still have early game spikes, right?
Sure.
Like this is a big part of the conversation we were having at the start of this week was like Senna Ashe, even with Ashe being support, Senna farming. is a lane that can exist right now. I think Ashe support has a place. If anyone's been playing solo queue recently or watching a US solo queue, they've probably seen one too many Ashe supports that they would care to deal with ever. So that's definitely combos that do exist, and we spoke about this. Center with flexibility is still game winning. But the Ezreal safety net that exists, right? I think what happened with Gravitas is they wanted a comp. So they started it, Ezreal was left up, they played comp A, which was Ezreal, Corki, Yuumi, Udyr just existing because it can. Wukong was gone. Wukong was probably the S tier pick for them. Volibear also could have just been picked instead of Udyr. But
what do we think of that Udyr though? Because I mean, like I said, I've heard the murmurs online. People saying this champion is broken. It's getting so much stronger once again, right? It's been left under the radar, Left
under the radar.
The radar throwback. yeah, absolutely. Maybe much like a Karthus, right? Where you just farm up an absolute storm and you will be a menace, right? You're just too tanky, you're too strong, you're too hard to try and track down.
I think it is mostly about the tankiness. But at the same time, like, why not be Volibear, I guess, is the question. What is it that an Udyr provides that a Volibear doesn't?
Sure.
When I think in reality, not much.
Same engage, save
better
dive
dueling,
attempts.
I would say, potentially. But even then, Volibear is an expert duelist. For me, it probably is a comfort thing. I haven't looked at Llenia's solo queue for Udyr. And I have looked at his OPGG, but I wouldn't have looked at Udyr and kept that in my memory.
Sure.
Unless he was a one trick. I know he was a Hecarim one trick. If you want to movement speed comps, it could have been a Hecarim angle, but it's more about being a tank, right? Standing in front of the Ezreal, the Corki, and soaking up with the turtle shields. That's probably what we're really expecting to see here.
He's just getting flashbacks to that old meta, right? And said, well, I had to play 2 champions back then. Much like you had to play 2 champions now. If it's not the Wukong or Viego, back then it was the Udyr and the Hecarim. So those skills, they certainly do translate from one meta to another. We're not too far away. Obviously, those same picks and same bans will be locked in and retained as we just get ourselves right back into that lobby to kickstart game number 2. But from what we've seen so far, obviously a fair bit to discuss. I guess, yeah, we look at that bot lane, right? You said that if you have locked in the Ezreal, we want to see the punishment. It could have come in many different fashions. I reckon it could have been the Kaiser. We probably would have preferred the Kalista instead. We got it. Do we think pound for pound then that a Kalista Rakan is just going to absolutely dominate an Ezreal Yuumi?
Kalista Rakan should just be outright winning. Yeah, like, I mean, the reality is Kalista's just too good level 1. Ezreal's strong level 1, but usually in like in a dueling sense, where like an Ezreal can throw mystic shots, have press the attack procs, and just match the 1v1 trades. With Rakan there, and the fact that the opponent is a Yuumi, it's not a Karma or a Lulu, which provides more lane pressure, it's just winning for Mammoth in reality. And I feel like even on paper, looking at all 4 players in that bottom lane, it's almost expected, I would say, that Voice and LEG, of what we've seen so far, would win this 2v2 anyway. Because they're
very aggressive.
Yeah, they're a pretty aggro 2v2 for sure. And that's what Voice has always wanted. And that's also on record, I believe, from Mammoth saying that like the difference between supports, between splits, is that LEG is much more aggressive lane centric
on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They match vibes better.
They certainly are. And yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for, right? Because we have seen Voice certainly have moments where he says, I'm going to literally like 1v1 a GP and it's going to work, or maybe it's not. So ultimately, he's not afraid at any stage of the game. He's got confidence exuding. So I look at this one and think, okay, well, Mammoth and Gravitas, it's a bit of a storied history, right? But is there a percentage you would give? Because I'm probably saying at the moment, maybe 70-30 to Mammoth.
That's pretty close to what my initial guess would have been as well. 65-35, 70-30. I mean, if I'm not considering draft, like throw the draft away, I'd say 70-30 to Mammoth before the game started.
Yeah.
Based off the draft, we're yet to see the last pick on red side from Mammoth.
Maybe
I think that's
scales.
That's the crux of, I think, their entire comp. Because I don't think that Mammoth have had the best drafts, full stop. I think they have had some rough drafts, so there's definitely a big point for them to improve on.
5th and final pick here, Luke and Kitty, welcome back. Yes, the lobby's taking a little bit longer for us to get back into, so rather than us having a 2-man couch podcast, which you're not here for.
We were minutes away from not talking about League, I can promise you.
I was just about to ask a
podcast.
non-League related question.
We were so close to just being done talking about the weather.
We could have.
Can any of you guys solve a Rubik's Cube?
No.
No.
Can you show me your Pikachu socks? I mentioned it in Twitch chat and everyone's like, oh my god, that's
Really?
so true, Queen.
Queen?
All right, Skimmy, get the socks out.
Yay, who's that Pikachu?
Here it is.
You don't have like the
Drip,
Omega
drip,
Fat
drip.
Pikachu though. That would have been like actually goated if you had like the old fat chubby one.
Or the Ditto one.
Or the Ditto one.
Well,
either way.
only 90s kids remember.
Yeah, only 90s kids remember.
Is that right?
We're going to get saved here. We've got some from the fans, so let's bring them up. Let's bring up some from the fans. Let's have a chat about these so we can actually talk about a few things on our screens. Mystery Drake, you don't know what buff it is till you kill it.
That is a good idea.
That would be, yeah.
So you low roll? You can low roll and high roll? Is that the thing we're going with?
I'm
right
sure
now?
all the TFT players to my right are just looking at the concept of a mystery and
Mort
frothing.
dog!
It's the Mort Dog Drake.
That's kind of interesting. So I'd imagine it'd be from the current pool of Drakes, and you would just get an RNG one that would
Surely
roll a
not.
brand new one?
Surely, or could be, but like it'd have to have worse and better options than the current Drake.
Okay,
Surely, right?
that's fair. What if you just got like a blank one? Like you killed a Drake and it just didn't do anything.
Yeah. Why not?
That'd
down
be
for that.
so rough.
Oh, that'd be so scammed. All this immaculate pressure of tempo, of mid control, of vision control, of lane pressure to go to a Drake and it says, unlucky, bro.
You just
Yeah.
have Timo's laughter in your ear the rest
Sucks
of the
to
game.
suck, dude. You know,
Yeah.
bad luck, Chief. Next time, come back in a couple of minutes and see if the Drake actually has something for you. We've got a few more from the fans here, so let's have a chat about these ones as well. So the Mystery Drake, I'd probably say that one's pretty fine. Totally need a Heart Drake. Earth, Fire, Wind, and Water are there. One more and we get Captain Planet.
Kitty, do you know what Captain Planet is?
I've seen this one Rick and Morty episode.
Oh,
and it was kind
no.
of similar to Captain Planet, so it's kind of one of the newer episodes. But maybe?
I
Question
shouldn't
mark?
have said anything because it's the biggest bait. Just like dating, just knowing that Kitty doesn't know any culture references from 90s TV shows is
love how-
soul
I
wrenching.
wasn't born in the 90s.
I know,
How would I
it's
get
only
them?
of reference was
Such
a
a
Rick
clear
and Morty
divide.
episode. Like,
I'm such a zoomer. I'm sorry.
you
Can
guys
we-
aren't intellectual enough to understand Kitty's references, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Captain
We've got
Planet goaded is the TLDR.
It is actually goaded. Either way, we've got a few more from the fans. Let's bring up another one here and see if Kitty can get another pop culture reference going her way. Dad Drake, when you get the soul, Dad takes you to football practice and you get some quality bonding time.
Oh, it's so hard to avoid the dark
Oh
jokes.
boy, I need that one. It was Father's Day yesterday,
Yes,
so that was
yes,
that's a
yes.
good correlation from that one.
You know what
so-
they need? A real straying dad. Just like, yeah, good on your son. Like,
Yeah, well done, mate.
a pat
Pass
on
us
the
the
back.
flashlight.
Just for the rest of the game, you just get words of encouragement. Like all toxic all chat words are just like, yeah, good on you, mate.
Maybe that's how you reduce toxicity in the game. You just get everybody a
Dad
father
Drake
figure.
and Mum Drake.
Just Drake wearing a cork hat or something.
Yeah.
It's okay, son. You might be feeding this game, but next game you'll be fine. It's okay.
It's just,
perfect.
your wedding son, just all across your screen.
And you have to click yes to continue play.
Oh, it's so good.
Either way, I feel like we've got a few more here, so let's see if there's any more that's to save us from our emotional sorrows, or whether or not we are going to be sitting here in silence until the one is cut. Carbon Dragon, where every Drake makes your skill shots harder to land. You get some on your chin.
Tim with the bangers.
Self burns. Those are rare. Those are rare.
Have you seen the subtext?
Shiny
So
dome.
shiny dome reflect all CC. That's so good.
I just think of like bowling ball, like drifting.
Unbelievable
It's-
banger.
The
You
best
don't
part
miss.
about this is I was like halfway through reading it. I was like, I'm so going to make a bold joke. Yeah. And then Carver just beat me to it. So he knows his own brand of
I
humor.
saw the last one and I saw bold and me and Skimmy just laughed.
That's where you need. We need somebody right now to go Photoshop all the champions balls,
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
see what we've got going
What do
on.
you do with Lee Sin then? He's already bold. How do you make him more bold?
Get rid of his like eyebrows. everything
Yeah,
else.
give him hair.
Yeah.
Anti-ball. I'm not quite sure if we have another one here. No, we don't have any more. Okay, so we're just going to think about bald champions.
So we
for
haven't
the
had a
next couple
dessert Drake submission. I'm just throwing that one out there.
Yeah, dessert tray. What would that be? You just all had to play
You know
like
how
the
bad-
candy skin line?
You know how Bard has a little teacup that gives a health pack? Maybe random health packs spawn on the map, perhaps? Bit
Okay.
of tea, some tea
That'd be like the Heart Drake idea, perhaps. Could be that. Right? Like you have
Oh.
health that spawn, like shrines that spawn everywhere that give health.
Yeah.
That
Not a
could
bad
be cool.
shout.
I don't know how you change the map though. That's the issue with a lot of these Drakes. Is like, how do you fairly change the whole map landscape, which is what happens with the soul.
That's an interesting
Yeah,
kind
you
of
make
concept.
a little donut that where you can go stealth, and then you have extra damage. You can do extra damage in that stealth, and then I believe you can make it a bit of color green, and then
How about
yeah.
Just have a
how about
coloring in the
Herald
line zone.
Junior Drake? Okay.
Okay.
When you claim Herald Junior Drake as
Yeah.
its soul, it spawns baby heralds in all three
Oh,
lanes that
God.
crash and headbutt the turrets. So it's just like constant
That
pressure.
seems
ZZ
pretty
Rot meta?
broken.
Like
Almost-
a Hydra Herald.
Yeah,
Bring
like
back
almost like
ZZ
ZZ
Rot.
Rot, but it's just like a way to be like, just end this game.
What about a Drake that allowed you to have a 6th teammate?
Who do you sub in?
If somebody is queuing in 6 teammate queue permanently, and then as soon as
guy's in a
someone, as soon as the
50-minute
soul
queue?
is
It's the
done,
coaches. The coaches in the
the
LCO.
coaches get to drop in.
Yeah.
You guys are making too many macro mistakes. I'm subbing in.
He goes
Puts
in,
down.
chokes, you're like, ah.
Chippers is like about that ego Sejuani, huh?
You're just able to pull them out and deal with them. I feel like there's a lot of cool concepts that are floating around here with Drakes, but I feel like kind of a lot of them it's very hard to make them actually competitively viable. I think that's why a lot of them are fun to talk about from the fans, but competitively viable, probably not.
What's your favorite champion, Luke, when you play League?
My favorite champion to play is Kaiser.
Kaiser's
good
fun.
choice.
I think
Big
it's
Kaiser
fun.
fan.
AD, right?
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
Just playing it.
AP was fun for like 10 minutes, and then you're like,
10
I
whole
feel
minutes.
so
I don't
disgusting.
think I have hands good enough to be able to play anything that has more than a skill shot. So if I just go in and just right-click people or A-click on the ground.
Yeah, but that was AP Kaiser. All you had to do is press W.
Yeah, but I can't even do that. That's a skill shot, bro.
Yeah, but it felt good.
It does feel good, but if you can't hit
Watching the
them,
world burn.
you kind
like
of
Kitty
just you're
said.
sitting there. It's like, guys, I'll hit one eventually.
Yeah, the punish is pretty rough if you miss it.
Yeah,
'cause
it
doesn't
is.
reset the
It's like
cooldown.
15 billion cooldown, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of sucks. What about you guys? What's everybody's? I mean, all right,
Bard.
Bard.
Bard fan.
Yeah.
To say
Skimmy?
it
It's like a
that.
siphoning ball.
It's what happens when you lock in Bard. It's like,
Hey, you know who I caught playing Yuumi in solo queue the other day?
Oh no.
You know, it's such a terrible game because when you pick Yuumi, you need a complacent jungler and ADC because you're laning with that ADC play. But if they're bad, you go to the jungler and then you kind of just make your ADC like an orphan, and then you leave.
You abandoned ship
You
from
abandon
bot lane
ship
completely.
to jungle, but jungle's bad as well. So who do you hop onto next? The on top? I don't know.
Hop on the next game fast.
Hop
Yeah.
onto
I
the
don't
next
know.
game,
Yeah.
and I lost my
You hit that
game. So
FF
you
button and
literally
you go
cursed
next.
me.
I don't know. I don't know.
It feels like Kitty has a rant that's about to like build up and bubble over. It
It
feels
could.
like it's getting close. It's almost there.
You know what it is? It's the tension of being close to being out of Challenger because of someone who's in our next game.
Oh, that's a lot of.
Is it Mikru?
Yeah.
Oh no.
The man who might have.
You're
might
literally gonna
be-
demote me out of Challenger. I'm watching you. If you don't win your next game, I'm gonna come at 9
What?
Twitch chatting. Just emotes on screen in person.
You know that crying emoji I sent you? Just typing.
Oh, okay. Thank
Oh,
God
saved
we
by
got
the
being
bell.
saved by
Yay.
the game. Praise be. We are gonna get into this game. We can go away. We can
We
think
did get
about
the
our
Yone.
actions, and let's get into it.
Rank 1 Yone in the world in OS? What does it mean?
Yeah, we also got the Gnar, yeah.
Okay, so I guess we kind of got what we kind of expected, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I don't want to say was unexpected was the Yone, right? But that's like the wild card in the draft that we missed. So with the Gnar in the composition, Gravitas have effectively replicated Order's comp. The point of difference is obviously being in the jungle role where the Udyr was a Trundle, and it's basically the same comp, right? For the side of Mammoth, the early rotation of a Kayle, just to catch everyone up on this as well, it was the third pick before bans. They got rid of some top laners that would deal with it. They've gone for the Kalista Rakan, which we have seen in other regions. I don't think we've seen it yet in OS for a very, very long time. This is only the third Kalista that we've had in Oceania. And the Yone pick itself handles Corki so incredibly easily. There is a really high amount of kill threat. Ignite almost confirms that that's going to be there. And at level 6, you can all in on site at all times. You have more pressure pre-level 6 as well. The difference maker for me, Skimmy, just feels like it's going to be about how the junglers actually get involved into this mix. Because Udyr doesn't feel like the best champion for ganking people that have dashes, but Yone's dash is on a Q3, right? So there's definitely angles that you can take.
Certainly are some angles, and it's going to be a lot of exciting angles, right? There's going to be a lot of skirmishing. That's what I really see as the key theme from both of these drafts, is that these teams are going to be trading blow for blow. We know that Meifan is a big believer in the Viego, has picked her on pretty much the majority of his games, actually. He's very content to lock that one, and looks ever so good in it as well. So keen to see if they can get the ball rolling once again. Is a mid-jungle pairing, very AD heavy, but very keen to try and dash into your face and get a commanding lead to take you down. Here we go, finally. All interruptions aside, game number 2 here in the LCO in day 2 of week 3. We are blitzing through things and not too far away from completing that very first round robin. Well, let's jump into a coach interview, get some thoughts and feelings from the side of Satnav, who joins us on the line. How are you, mate?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. How was the break we gave you?
Oh, far out. That was it was descending into madness. So I'm glad you boys have saved us. Which I have to ask, I suppose, to yourself as well. I mean, it's been a bit of a rough start to the split. So how are you looking to try and salvage that? What's really missing to get that first win?
Well, the thing we've been working on over the past couple of weeks since we've got the main roster together now is just the communication elements, because we've got a lot of new people. A lot of them are still learning the ropes in terms of like what they should be calling and like what each people's responsibilities are. So like some people will assume that other people just like know the information that's in their head, and so it's just making sure that people are passing on that information so the team can perform better rather than just sort of hoping that they will know what to do.
Yeah, we're not telepathic just yet. Absolutely. And I mean, obviously, with a big roster, it is going to take time, no doubt about it. But I mean, going into Mammoth, it's always been one of those historic matchups where you guys have traded blow for blow. It didn't really go in your favor last split. Would you say this is your best chance at getting that ball, that momentum back in your favor? Would you be looking more to the next game against Peace, where you actually got that head-to-head in the best of 3?
Well, I mean, Peace is always a pretty clear win for us, but like Mammoth, we're always trying to like improve ourselves. So the longer the split goes on, the better we get. But yeah, this is definitely the first shot where it's a lot more even tables than say a Chiefs game or that sort of thing. But we're always up for a good fight.
Certainly are. Well, Satnav, I wish you boys the best of luck on that journey to see if it can all turn around. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Peace is a free win.
Yeah, Peace is a free win.
What a legend.
Jeez, that's going to be a sound bite if Peace beats him, isn't it? Early push so far in bot lane as well. Nothing to really report on from these junglers overall. DaJeung trying to push mid lane, keep Mikru busy. Level 3 is a pretty free break point, however, for Mikru to be much more aggressive, so that's something to look out for. Meifan also going to get spotted here by a good ward by Gravitas. That priority in mid starting to show some value here as they catch Meifan towards his red now. In saying that, Llenia has put absolutely zero intent into trying to counter jungle, invade, or anything like that. He's just going to do his full clear. Level 4, 6 camp, jungle clear, look towards a scuttle crab afterwards. Could be a little biff for the top scuttle, but I feel like there's no real worlds where Viego can handle an Udyr 1v1. You would expect, at least in my head, that Udyr just wins every 1v1 ever if he's able to hit them. But Udyr has an age-old counter Skimmy. Very similar to Alawi. Do you know what that is?
Tell me, Rusty.
If you just walk away from him, he's useless. And so, if you just avoid the Udyr, you don't fight the Udyr, then what does the Udyr provide?
Cool aesthetic and a core rework, which will be coming out very shortly, no doubt. But obviously, that is not what we have on our screen right now. I'll certainly trading blow for blow here in the mid lane. As Mikru will be running that TP to make sure that he can keep pace here with this Corki. We'll get to see how he navigates this one, right? Obviously, a lot of poke that can come against him. He's be very creative with his angles, his engagement opportunities, his ability to slingshot it and get those cheeky pokes, which makes Yone ever so annoying to contend with.
It's another small thing here as well, where we do have a pretty free amount of downtime with not a lot actively happening on the map. LG going to get his first roam, perhaps look mid, but they've got the push from the looks of it. It'd be hard to force this as long as the W is there from DaJeung.
He's looking really good. How did he go?
Jeez,
DaJeung look for the Valkyrie. Oh, he's gone straight into it, and there's the knock-up as well. That really is as free as it goes. DaJeung made it a little bit too easy to try and land that CC.
Yeah, I'd have to watch back like 10 seconds prior to the death. It feels like Mikru was maybe baiting him in. Just playing in a minion wave because the push was starting to be there for DaJeung, but ultimately just a little bit too far forward, a little bit too aggressive, not knowing where the bottom lane is from Mammoth. So a good roam from Ali G. And here we go in bottom.
Yeah, we're just running it from mid to bot. We're
no
looking
dash
once
for 2
again.
seconds.
Grand entrance to jump on through. Will they do it right underneath this turret? No, the stun just misses from Meifan. And they were looking for that as opposed to the Rakan to start things off.
I don't know if they had the timing on the Ezreal E. Because it was about 3 seconds from being available if Rakan W'd on site instead of waiting. Kind of bottled him into a choke point to make that more possible for the Viego stun to connect. I get it, but yeah, there was a cooldown there for Piglet's E on that Ezreal. He was able to just space for as long as possible. and create enough of it to actually get himself out perfectly fine. Drake's still going to be secured. They're still going to get the objective. The big thing that I wanted to say, Skimmy, though, about the Udyr is that the enemy team has a lot of close, divey champions that you want to deny resets from, right? Viego needs to be in-your-face auto-attacking. Yone needs to be in-your-face auto-attacking, as well as having the spells, of course. Rakan engages in melee range. Udyr denies a lot of that with his ability to just stun on site. So the bear stance Udyr just kind of slaps them all in team fights to protect his high-range, high-damage champions, and can play for Peel and Kite, essentially. There's one really nice thing that it does have.
That is a really good consideration, actually, and could be certainly the highway to ensure that their poke and engage can flourish and look to try and find a point of power much before the likes of this Kayle can really start to take over the game.
Did Llenia not have vision there? I feel like there was a world that he stops Papryze's base.
Ooh, Meifan's here. He's going to realize, hey, my Krugs is not there. He's not even going to check the bush. He's just going to go back as a double reset. Papryze has TP'd in, and what could have been something wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't amount to anything really. Junglers, it's more knowledge, it's more information for Llenia. It's an extra camp for him. Also, as he's able to take that reset towards his red buff as it all spawns, will have himself a pretty sizable camp lead, it feels like. To be expected from an Udyr versus a Viego, but all of those clears have been completely unabated and completely unstopped. You saw Toppy with some control, some retention of power up in top, but Papryze ticks over 6. He's going to be ranged now. And down in a little bit of farm, yes, the teleport advantage is the biggest thing here also. It is, 10 CS plus a teleport. So currently sizable in favor of the Gnar.
Nice little interaction here from Mikru. Just jumps in with the soul, and as soon as Toppy, or Floppy rather, comes across to give him a shield. Oh no! He tried to go for the Fate Sealed. It looked like he'd baited it so well, but a flash away and a shield from the Rakan and an ult under the turret and a kill onto DaJeung, surely. He can't claim the soul, he just needs to disengage away. But in comes Llenia. Llenia's just going to run them down. Slappy hands in Phoenix form. Trades back in the mid lane.
Yeah, just looking to push the wave in. There's a world that he trades with both LG and Meifan there because he's got like 7 minions and a Yuumi on top of him, but doesn't want to take the risk, it seems. Just wants to make sure that wave is large. They're going to try and hold it for Voice, however, to catch this one. Toppy's still putting in some good work top lane at the same time. Gravitas still finding themselves with a very strong fighting chance in this game. Extremely difficult in mid for DaJeung to exist. That is the real takeaway for them so far, but everywhere else, just business as usual, right? Just scaling up.
Business as usual. And we'll see then who comes out with the biggest return. What is that return on the investment? Because certainly explosive interaction in the mid lane where the Udyr was certainly really keen to try and find that kill with the all-in with the gank. Coming from his jungler. A lot of early roaming here from the supports as well. LG deploying onto this map very quickly to try and get that cutting edge, right? Certainly going to be a much bigger impact than a Yuumi only 8 minutes in.
Can have much more impact by himself as well. I think that's the real key facet to that, right? The Rakan can walk around, can place vision. Yuumi, terrified to do that alone. Doesn't really want to do that. Needs to be more grouped with Llenia is I think the key feature there. But hey, Ezreal, Kalista just hanging out by themselves. 1v1 bot lane. Free experience for both of them as well. Does mean a pretty free time for both of them overall. Voice, I would say, by default, has got more kill threat over protracted trades, over really long duration trades where he can stack up the sticks inside to rend them. It doesn't seem like either AD carry is really poised or willing to take any kind of adventurous fights. Just happily farming.
Happily farming up a storm. No need to worry at this stage. I've always enjoyed their interaction also with Kalista, right? When you stack up all the spears or stack up the rend into a particular unit and then spear right through, it just passes onto the next unit. And you're like, hang on a minute, how did that happen?
It's also really good because I think the most underrated feature of it is for lane trades, you get the reset on your E if you press QE through a minion that you're last hitting. Because it rends, the stacks go through, it applies to the person you've hit, but you still have the E to press again. So you can follow up with further trades.
I think I saw it once where the Kalista was stacking it up on a Gromp, somebody face checked and they just got one shot, and I thought that's a little bit illegal.
Yeah, you can also like reset blue buff aggro to just constantly get sticks in it.
Yep. Cheeky ult there from Toppy. He's having none of it as Papryze was starting to get rather excited, exalted in that range form underneath his own turret. Mega expires and he wants to go back to base with that recall. Does have that TP, so obviously he can return and look to spend up.
We almost call that the top Udyr at this point, right? Gnar using his ultimate just to try and expend himself a free reset. Timing a little bit off there from Toppy, however. He'll have to teleport if he wants to stay in lane. Boys with some auto attacks. Really nice damage and pressure applied. Jungle was also hovering in the area, and both Gravitas solo laners have just teleported back to their respective lanes.
Looking for it. Oh, what a flash charm! There's the quickness, there's the kill. Is it on? One more auto is all they need right now, but they cannot find it. Onto Llenia instead. Oh my gosh, Meifan, what an ultimate. He can't claim the soul underneath the turret. If he tried to stay there any much longer, the turret would have just simply killed him. DaJeung is looking for the angle. He doesn't have the flash, but that package would take him right where he wants to be. Here it is. Take him away and spin him right back out as Mikru just jumps in and splits them again. But it doesn't matter because DaJeung's found himself a double kill, and the Corki with the Udyr get themselves some big shutdowns.
Redemption for DaJeung here, as well as Herald to summon afterwards. Mikru hovering has got the ability to try and stop this, but it seems like no matter what, the charge will be found. Really nice damage again from DaJeung. Package was pretty much nullified immediately by the Kalista ultimate, but the follow-up afterwards was exceptional. This seems like a really comfortable pick for Llenia, this Udyr. He's constantly finding the correct angles. And they've given themselves a real fighting chance in this one. Play happens. Nice E actually buffered by Piglet to get out of the knockup. Saves his life. Floppy able to get back into the mix as well, apply damage, while Meifan goes for the kill and does get that first one with the ult. It means he has no ultimate from this point out, which is crucial for the rest of this fight. Package comes in immediately, Kalista ulted, but a huge rocket as well as a Q from DaJeung connects and basically just one-hits Voice. And Meifan was already low from the turret that he tanked earlier. Meanwhile, Llenia just quietly achieving, stunning everyone.
He really was. I mean, it actually began on that Viego, right, to prevent the claiming off that soul, to get the reset, to continue to be the ones in the driving seat forward, buying enough time for DaJeung to come on through and say, we won't just salvage it, we will just outright win it. And that they are, Rusty. 12 minutes in. That's a gold lead for Gravitas.
Yeah, it is certainly a very nice gold lead for them this early into the mix. Good scaling in their composition as well, so very much poised to have a good game from here on out. Feels like this is one of the first times, and like if you think back to the ancient time of this broadcast before we got into this one, there was one conversation that I was having about the early game from Gravitas. That was echoed by Kitty afterwards as well. It feels like the early game has been the biggest miss by Gravitas as a whole. So it's really nice to see them kind of shape that up at least 12 minutes into this one. Still something there for Mammoth, right? Some early kills were definitely found. Some nice roams from LEG, but overall Gravitas in this game.
There's always a Kayle in the game. You've always got a self-belief. The scaling could just be on your side. Is it enough to try and outbeat a Corki? Well, we saw go up against the GP, and even in that exchange, it still was just a 1v9 Terra. Down 16 CS. But he's being a little bit aggressive right now. He's got two members lurking in the wings, supporting jungle here to try and force a fight. If Toppy goes mega and looks to try and go for the kill, they would be there. But look how much he's pumping out.
Yeah, Papryze is actually just winning it. It has got his mythic completed, right? The Nash's 2 DPS as well as press the attack that he did have procced onto Toppy. Puts him in very much in the driver's seat. Llenia hovering could bait Toppy to go for the play here. He does.
He certainly does. In there with the Divine Judgment, a flash charm once again, looking to lock him up and get that kill, which they certainly do. Toppy is down. Can they find Llenia instead? No. Disengage. Much to your point, just run away from the Udyr.
Yeah, just baited by the fact that Llenia saw the play. And I think it's, you know, Mammoth reading, baiting, playing just better League of Legends as a team there, to draw in the Udyr to be able to make that play happen while still hiding in vision. Trinity Force done there for Toppy as well, so just prior to having a huge item spike, but look, Mammoth, they picked their battle, they chose their timings really nicely. Top lane having a very good time suddenly, and that does only get better as time passes.
Just look how strong these junglers are. I mean, we've got a bounty on this Udyr, but also the Viego as well. 4 and 1, certainly accelerated in their regard to be that big catalyst, that driving force to say, I will show up to a lane and something will happen.
Mikru very caught here, very stuck in this lane. He's just going to be a little bit delayed with tempo, right? Just stuck catching it, has no sustain, has no real survivability presently, and has definitely been getting poked out.
Look how fair DaJeung is.
Yeah, those 2 kills were massive for him, and he had the CS lead as well as a couple free turret plates bottom also. Kind of just out of nowhere that erupted. Huge item spike for him here as well.
He's essentially the gold lead for the team. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah.
Very early on, Luden's Tempest complete. Not too far away from that Muramana being upgraded and ready to rock and roll as well. That's something that poke really starts to shine and wither. Well, Toppy in a bit of trouble right there. Does turn Mega, does get a heal from the Yuumi, and they will continue their advantage, which is this Herald. They aren't showing any signs of slowing down right now. DaJeung looking to try and protect them on the flank. The Herald has claimed the split members of Mammoth may just be run down here. His voice is burning the flash. The True Shot Barrage pox the shield bow. And now Mikru instead is going to be the one that is the focus. Also forced to burn a flash. And Mammoth, they teased the idea, but never really had a shot.
Yeah, they just postured. They never really committed to the play. And as simple as Gravitas saying we commit to the objective, we then chase down the 2 carries that are isolated. In what world is Voice and Mikru as a Yone and a Kalista ever a flanking angle? That should be where majority of the team is. Maybe you have Yone by himself. But they're playing so heavily around Papryze that they've forgotten the rest of their team exists and how the combo would work in a team fight. Papryze just really feeling like a quick death to the turret here. He's going to back himself away.
He's copped it.
Gravitas get the objective. They get the double flashes. They're 3,000 gold ahead. They're so close to a Muramana completed as well for DaJeung. Well and truly, I would say the next objective, not necessarily this Drake immediately, but the next big objective, poised to take a 5v5 and just look to win it.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. I mean, this is crazy to me, right? The fact that you are so aggressive as Mammoth, but on that situation, you've, as you say, just invested everything in towards this Kayle winning early, so it will be certainly winning late. But Gravitas get 2 flashes, they summon a Herald, they get a turret, they get another Dragon, and now they go for a beautiful play on top side, or actually bot side rather, and just absolutely look to assassinate Mikru. He does get the return kill, however, onto the Corki, and that's a big shutdown in a 1v3.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he got the shutdown is really nice. There's like Mikru could have just immediately altered his way out and disappeared from that fight. So it was very interesting to me that he chose to go forwards and make the trade happen at all. Especially when you've got Corki with the flash, with the package, and with the Valkyrie afterwards. 3 dashes and still managed to hit the ultimate. Probably a kill that probably shouldn't have happened. But nevertheless.
Oh, here we go. Always feeling himself a little bit here in the mid lane as well, and it starts to feel like Mammoth are rising up and saying we will not go easily in this game. Oh, a flash charm there from LEG and an ult, which is an after effect. It looked good, but Voice had the rain stacks ready to go. There is the TP, there is the rundown as Udyr pops his ghost. They run into Kalista. She's got no flash. She's got a hop, skip, and a jump straight into a grey screen.
It's pretty tough being a Kalista into an Udyr, full stop. Definitely not the easiest person to play into. But once again, Meifan LEG not in the same position as Voice, just finds himself being run down slowly. And even the whole team of Mammoth feel like they're not communicating on the same wavelength. The fact that LEG commits to the play, flash ults in to go for it, Meifan's already disengaging. It was Voice that was ready. Papryze
doesn't stop there just yet. Papryze is in a lot of trouble, just out of range.
Big one also missed. DaJeung would have killed him there.
He holds his nerve every single time, though, with this ultimate. He just knows.
Does he or does he pray?
Well, whatever it is, it's beautiful luck.
Definitely some hopes and prayers mixed into that.
Hands off keyboard,
Yeah.
close your eyes and run.
It's pure belief. Look, he survives. Again, a question marks raised as to what exactly he's doing at that bush. Trying to find some kind of priority for mid lane, I suppose, to try and give Voice some kind of control. He's been struggling otherwise.
Open to Toppy, stun starts here with Meifan. Mikru in that clone form, looking to lay as much damage as he can. Snaps back down to 50. Mega is ready to go. Just merely looking to crash this wave in. I don't think he's wanting to really shovel. He does have teammates in the area, so could have taught it the idea. A lot of vision down bot side as well, and I will spot out that Llenia and crew are up top side now as well.
Papryze is in a lot of trouble here.
Papryze may just be dead. He's down to 50. He's got a flash. He's got an ult. What can he do in a 1v4?
Some say he is still holding his ult.
He's just tied to a Yuumi.
He has, but Mammoth are pressuring bottom. So the mistake was made 20 seconds ago, right? The result is a death. The turret's still going to fall. Voice is prioritizing mid anyway. The fact that Gravitas didn't take that top turret is very confusing. I would hope that DaJeung has enough gas in the tank to secure that one. Otherwise, I'm a little bit lost. There we go.
Nice, so...
But it's not a tempo play, right? They bring the Udyr as well as the Ezreal and Yuumi to try and defend mid, but it was already gone, so they're just late to that play. You can just take top faster, reset faster, get on the map faster as a team. Either way, they still get what they need.
A kill, a top turret, trading out there for Mammoth, who get 2. And trying to keep things close here as they're down 4,000. Once again, we look at that total gold, and it's DaJeung still in a very strong lead. Not too far away from that Ravenous Hydra being completed, and especially once the Yuumi's on his head. These rockets really will pack a punch, which is going to dissuade the likes of a Viego and Yone ever showing their face.
I don't know if you remember in Champion Select, there was the Yone hover by DaJeung. He knows. He's friends with Mikru. They knew what they were both going to be playing. A little bit of extra motivation here for one another as they play against their friends. Definitely some incentives to win. Can't say I'm surprised that DaJeung's having one of his best games.
Oh, why not?
That extra little incentive tossed into the mix.
There's always something about versing your mates, right, which makes you play just a fraction better. Papryze now, the recipient of another gank, an early flash, stun, buffing into the bush. This time he's got members in the vicinity. It will dissuade Gravitas from chasing that much further on through. 30 seconds and our 4th dragon of the game. Gravitas would love this to put themselves in a potential soul point. Question is, will Mammoth contest?
I mean, again, Flash was used by the Kayle. He's positioned on the stronger side of the map in terms of objectives that are up. Piglet has to be careful.
Oh, he's been locked in place. He couldn't hit the shift away, and the stun afterwards is immaculate. That's a really rare pick, which might actually give Mammoth an out.
That's huge from them, right? Mikru was farming top lane. He had the teleport. Was definitely on the weaker side of the map, but because the gank is successful bottom in that it forces Kayle back, forces the summoner spell, he finds an opportunity to walk through the blue side quadrant. They get the pick. That enables them to get a free Drake uncontested and definitely keep themselves well and truly in even steadings in this game. No soul point to be seen.
What a bizarre series of events. What looked like a freebie there for Gravitas, having made the pick on towards the now flashless Kayle. Results in an AD carry being caught in the mid lane, surrounded by every single angle. And he'd been so good in so many occasions, right, buffering his Arcane Shift away to make sure that he wasn't going to get locked in to a situation like that. But a rare lapse of judgment and a chance for Mammoth to stall things out just a little bit longer and continue to keep this gold lead quite close.
He was about 10 seconds away from his flash as well. Just pushing Llenia back here is the side of Mammoth. 3 members grouped up, voice hovering in the area. Kayle actually correctly assigned here also is going to be on the bottom side of the map, teleport in hand, just looking to farm experience. Baron, the only objective that exists, but the real objective in this game for both DaJeung and for Papryze is experience.
Yeah.
You're expecting to see them both just postured in side lanes, solo experience by themselves as much as possible. Level 16 is a huge win condition for both of them. Papryze to be permanently exalted, do all of that extra AoE damage, huge DPS in team fights. DaJeung to have the ultimate, doing effectively a 1-to-1 ratio in terms of damage as it scales up to level 16. Starts one hit and peak.
But I wouldn't be surprised if DaJeung was to start filling himself, because he is 3 items complete right now. A full item complete over all of his teammates, over the opposition. As much as that sort of experience sounds ever so juicy, you wouldn't be surprised to see him say, let's group up and have a crack at something.
We'll see, he's teleportless, so there is a bit more incentive for him to be grouping also. You are correct in that respect, but look at Gravitas. They want to go and support him, but he can't push forwards. Vision control belongs to Mammoth. They're sitting at this Scryer's Bloom trying to bait it. The Udyr comes to hit it to reveal their opponents. He'll find them already hitting him. LEG, a bit more patience perhaps than Meifan, who's hunting for the Corki.
Just going to skirt Vision. I don't think they've realized.
Well, they do now.
Yeah, question mark pings will eventually go out. And there won't be any face checking of any crazy bushes to stay. Baron being the only objective, it feels like, well, if you're not on the map, where else could you be but setting a trap?
But acknowledge that during all of this, Corki's been struggling to find a place to be, while Kayle has been happily farming. Package is picked up here by the Corki. Baron is already at 8k. They saw them reset. They saw them base. But they're going to get here in time.
This is DaJeung saying, we have to fight. I've got a package. I've got 3 items. We're good to go. Let's make something happen right now. Let's draw in Mammoth. The TP's been committed here by Papryze into the mid lane.
They're not taking the bait just yet, though, Skimmy. They haven't gone in. Baron's sitting at 2k. It is within range to get over the wall. starting to regenerate.
Oh, hasn't hit anything. Ezreal will have no stacks. LEG hits the quickness, jumps in, knocks up 2. In goes the Fate Sealed and the shutdown! Carry for carry. Papryze comes out on top. Now the junglers get excited. And it is Meifan that becomes the Ezreal. A double kill, however, here for Llenia. Don't count out this Udyr. Do they try to run down, but ever so quick, ever so fast. Not a Yone can even do anything to try and slow that one down.
Hey, listen, Kitty was saying this before the game. When your AD's underperforming, you just abandon ship, you find the jungler, he's your new best friend. Floppy and Llenia get that done as a duo. They are the real heroes in this fight. DaJeung just gets smashed. It is LEG who finds the engage here. Flash W with the ultimate already proc. Mikru follows up. Kayle ultimate on top of the Yone. So that is the combo. But then Llenia and Floppy are completely left untouched as Toppy distracts and then Voice tries to get there. But there's just no way you're catching. There's just no way.
They ran opposite ends. Llenia top side, Toppy the other, both very low. Much like Papryze as well, who was really saying, well, the Baron is the least off. That's more time for me to hit this level 16, and that's what I will return out of the fountain with. 2 items were there. Rabadon's not too far away now, having picked up both those rods. And, well, they've really got themselves out scot-free there, not having lost to that potential item spike that the Corki had.
Absolutely. Kayle also ticks over 16.
He's 14 still.
They were both level 14 at the same time. Only one team managed to continue to find a side lane to farm in, so macro or map control more specifically. Better from Mammoth for their win condition. You could realistically have just put Corki in the same lane as the Kayle, taken the L on TP advantage and just farm freely if you wanted. That's a lot from Meifan. He's asking for it.
Not sure if that's the fight you're after, Meifan. Drake is up in 5 seconds.
Summon a spell checker as well. LEG no flash means engage is really hard for Mammoth. Meifan no flash means he's very susceptible to dying also. The poke from Gravitas is the real key feature here you have to look at. They don't need to all-in engage. Toppy just lost his Mega Gnar as well. This is all about Piglet and DaJeung.
Only one stopwatch, and it is on the Corki, but those rockets are starting to hurt. You're seeing Meifan and LEG very low. Honeyfruit comes out. Dragon engaged. Lifesteal is going to be of paramount importance. Voice trying to find a way in. Mikru, what was that? What a beautiful knock-up as he slingshots back and just absolutely crushes them all. Double kill here for Voice. Papryze getting excited. Papryze getting a shutdown. And now Gnar with a blast cone will say, what more can I do? Here's a second one. We're going on a bit of a tiki tour. But there's nowhere for me to run or hide. That Drake is gone.
I mean, Mikru just wins the game effectively by himself. They're huge from the Yone. Finding the angle that they needed, forcing at the Drake. Mammoth. They get the engage. Papryze is left to his own devices to hit freely. They'll get the Drake. They'll threaten Infernal Soul. Look at the damage done as well. Papryze was huge in that one. But it's the team that you're seeing hit the Baron right now that sets him up to succeed. And he just prospers.
He certainly does. And for any concern that it was going to be hard for them to engage there with the Rakan, well, if it lines up beautifully like that for a Yone, they can certainly get the job done as well.
Baron Empowered Recall still going to save the day there for Voice. Just gets himself back to base in time. Huge swing in this game. About 3,000 gold down, right? Gravitas, they've lost a couple of back-to-back skirmishes. Suddenly, they are the ones down in gold. They are the ones now dealing with the win condition in 4 minutes of an Infernal Soul for Mammoth. Look at the items as well here for Mammoth. 3 items done on most of the carries. Control wards purchased. This recall from Papryze is probably the death cap. Have some change there for the control wards. And a stopwatch. We'll see this one more time because it's just a clinic from Mikru, right? Finds his angle, hits Q on the Drake. Sees Piglet and DaJeung standing together, flash forwards. Blue screens the game momentarily just because he's built that different. And just continues to fight forward. Papryze hasn't been touched. Look at him. Easiest game of his life. He's flashing forwards as a Kayle. You can't ask for much more.
Disgusting set of circumstances there on your debut, up against your mate. On stream, showcasing this is the proficiency.
The clip to him later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see this, by the way?
Back to YouTube. Really not nervous, that's for sure. And that late game insurance of the Kayle is proving to be wonderful once again. Now, Baron is there for 1:30. And Mammoth are going to try and set up a trap once again to really cut off the angles of these turrets falling on down. That is their 5th one found. Ideally, they really want to try and sync up these waves.
really trying to staunch this bush Gravitas for no good reason. Mikru has decided that he just wants to stop time for a quick second. Activates that one for fun. Now it doesn't have a stopwatch nor a flash come the fight. That sucks. Happens to the best of us.
And he does.
I think he's playing this wave really slowly as well. Perhaps he is trying to synchronize it with mid. It's just going to crash a little bit faster here regardless, so they're not going to be sync waves.
Oh, but enough to try and bait them in. There is the charm. There is the follow-up afterwards as Toppy is mega, forced to jump away. Won't find an avenue to try and hit them with that wall bang, but ultimately is going to be left up intact. And forced to try and turn their attention elsewhere, and oh no, Voice is in so much trouble. He just gets literally run down by the Udyr with Ghost active with a Yuumi on his head. That was just too much movement speed, 900 to say the least. But now
Okay, Llenia.
He's just got the fancy feet. He says, you can't hit me with any CC. Papryze wants to target a hit. He wants to stay exalted. Now he's been split from the rest of his team. Llenia, with a cat on his head, will do it all. And then Mikru jumps in and then locks in place Ezreal. Piglet, nowhere to run or hide. He burnt a flash, but that wasn't enough to juke out the fate that had been sealed for him.
Hey, Mikru just hits him with the no you once again. Papryze gets to stand and deliver. Really the star of this game, the star of this show has to be this Yone. Really sloppy from Mammoth in terms of macro. Having Voice by himself once again just gets run down slowly but assuredly by an Udyr and a Yuumi. And it feels very simple. They see the 4v5, Llenia's breaking ankles, but they just can't fight. They just have no ability to sustain themselves when they're forcing the fights. They want to harass, but they've been unable to capitalize on the health advantages they have.
Certainly have. But what they have done is a fantastic job of at least staunching Mammoth away from claiming any inhibitors with that Baron, right? A fight does go in their favor, but still, they're unable to siege the base truly. And we'll now do one final bit of farming. Any form of extra item advantage. Back to base they go. And an Infernal Soul Point to play for shortly.
Yeah, 45 seconds until it's all on the line here for both of these teams. Looking at the total gold real quick, you'll see Papryze has snuck up the ranks. Again, has had so much time to his own devices. DaJeung still well and truly up there in the mix, but has gone for the Guardian Angel 4. I feel like that's not correct. If I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, you've got a Yuumi that's probably able to stand on top. If you use the package, you could have a Void Staff right now.
Yeah.
You could actually be dealing damage. Instead of sacrificing your own damage when you have a 0-6 AD on your team,
be greedy.
I think that is a terrible item choice, to be frank.
Be greedy, be selfish.
You have to. You have to Deathcap Void Staff this game, right, if you want to win. The team's built around your doing damage.
Oh, he's level 16. He's got the package. They're going to try and lay down the pressure to try and force him out. He gets charmed mid-air, but still manages to hit that Valkyrie. Piglet finds his first kill in this game. LG is down. Mikru the ultimate. Meifan goes gold, and Mikru snaps back, but a shutdown to Kayle. Papryze is dead for a whole minute. Shutdown also here for Toppy, as Mikru on the sidelines takes out a kill, but cannot be really doing much up against this Udyr, who's just become an absolute late-game terror.
It's just a raid boss. Gravitas, they'll win the team fight. I'm honestly shocked that they did, but Kayle dying, flash and stopwatch ready to be used. That's something we'll have to look at in a replay, but they want to end here, perhaps. I mean, you've got an inhibitor for sure. 20 seconds on Meifan. I'm not sure if they have enough in them to end. It could be one turret reset, but you've got a Drake that you really want to deny from them as well. So you just go back to the Drake here. No risks needed, no risks taken. Infernal Soul denied Skimmy. Inhibitor secured. We watch this again because the package from DaJeung is massive. It basically one hits Ali G. Huge ult from Toppy. The Kayle ultimate does come down. But really the fight was just fought so well on Gravitas' terms. They separate them with a Corki package. They Gnar ult them into the wall on top of the combo. And you see how unkillable this absolute raid boss of an Udyr Yuumi duo is.
Certainly itemization for this Kalista looks well built to try and do just that and take down the raid boss. But he can't. He's in his face. And they split that part, or split that fight apart rather. And all the CC they had, all that damage, it was just enough to cause that late game terror of Mammoth to not be anywhere near as scary as it was. Yet another twist and turn in this series. 35 minutes in.
Skimmy, it's taking a lot of my energy to not say it makes no difference if a Yuumi's disconnected. It makes no difference.
Yes, I know.
All of me wants to just... I won't.
Well, they'll give more stats, obviously, to make that Udyr even stronger, as if it needed to be any stronger right now. Force of Nature, Sunfire Aegis, why not? I mean, literally at this point, Ghost on cooldown or not, you're pretty much able to take down anybody and, one Turtle Shield and
yeah. I mean, it's the scaling movement speed, right, that the Yuumi provides to the Udyr that is the most broken thing come these skirmishes. But we are straight back into this one, thankfully, of course, ready to watch these team fights again. No Drake for 4 minutes. It is just Baron on the cards here, Skimmy. The game revolves around one objective. We've seen no real split pushing here committed from either team either. Papryze seems to really want to be grouped and connected. No Enchanters, but still an A-ramp.
This is how confident Llenia is. He's even gone from the Gyres right now, really tapping into some of those AP ratios. He says, look, you're not going to kill me.
0 stack purchase.
You're not going to kill me, so I'm going to farm me some stacks.
That is a 35-minute 0 stack Magi purchase. This game potentially is one team fight till it's over. What does that provide?
It's ego.
What does that provide?
Voice getting animated right now. Oh no, we're going back to another pause. This one really is full of all kinds of trauma and tension.
We're getting a workout over here in the studio.
Really
with about we're sitting and standing up.
Are we sitting down, Cast? Are we standing up talking? We'll never know. But we'll get confirmation in a second as to what is going on. Perhaps it's as simple as saying, yeah, that disconnect has happened again. Or there could be perhaps a peripheral issue. But we won't speculate too much on that one. I suppose let's talk about big picture right now. Who wins this next team fight? Because based on what we've seen, it really has all been about who gets the first jump.
Yeah, I mean, the big things for me in my mind before this fight is that Corki has no package for the Baron. It's probably going to be around the Drake that Gravitas would want to fight because that Corki package obviously huge.
It's huge, yeah.
Did buy the components, the not Kirche shard, I forget the name of it right now, the component for Void Staff.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
The stone, the gem.
Yes.
Blighted gem? Blighted
I don't
crystal?
even know the name. I just know it's the gem before staff.
Damn. Yeah, the thing before Void Star, so he's got, he's got some magic there.
Nice.
Yeah, chattel though, surely. One of yous. We can't see chat.
No, we
that
can't.
doesn't matter.
They can flame us.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you.
They can flame us. We can watch it back in the VOD. But,
yeah, so that's there. So they're going to have more damage on their mid laner. The thing that I've realized from this game is that this Kalista pick is suffering because they're mostly a physical damage composition through the choice of going for Yone with Viego. You've seen the enemy team basically all just go Randuins and say, what does Kalista provide now, right? Because there's an Udyr to stop her that is full armor stacked. And then there's everyone in the game, even the GA we spoke about from Corki, just stopping Kalista from existing.
Yeah, and I mean, what's he got? He's got the, the armor penetration with the Lord Dominic's. He's gone for the Blade of the Rune King. That looks fantastic, right? That looks well equipped to try and look to deal with the likes of a Gnar or an Udyr. The fact is, though, he can't actually play the game because he gets pounced upon. There's a Frozen Heart, there's a Randuins, there's Tabbies, and after all that mitigation, have you even lived long enough between a bear slap, a shun against the wall, even a boulder, right? So the principle in itemization seems on point, but it just doesn't have the room to work with.
It is one of those things with Mikru perhaps being a Yone primary player that makes it difficult because oftentimes if you want to have a sole AP champion, when you're playing like as a mid laner, it's usually a LeBlanc or an Ahri where you can go for the flat magic pen. But because it's a Kayle who's gone for a Wit's End, it doesn't feel the exact same. Yeah. So it's not a case of like going for ADs to make the Kayle prosper. It's just a rough comp, so the enemy team's itemization's really good. So that's made voice almost non-existent, right? And I haven't seen a combo between Kalista and Rakan, which is, this combo is so good at going forwards. So it's a shame that I don't feel like we've seen that once. In fact, what I think we've seen is Ali G being the only one who recognizes the angles, flashing in by himself
and maybe
with
just
no
out of range
support
for the Fate's Call.
Yeah, and then the Fate Call just like pulls him back. Or like, even that time in mid lane, the dive in mid lane, there was no one really on the same page as him when he was flashing for those plays. But like, I would say full credit to Ali G for recognizing the angles, but the fact that Voice and him aren't on the same page, and like the fact that Voice has died like 6 times just by himself, doesn't speak to me positively towards the comms in that team.
But it hasn't been really a good game for either AD carry, right? Because, I mean, before that fight, Piglet went in 0-6 on the Ezreal too, right? So I feel like AD carries really haven't been the highlight, the focus of this one, where they certainly could be in games gone prior. It's very much about, the war of attrition. Who is literally more durable, ultimately, right? As to who can get the jump with the package, who can get the jump with the engage. Is the Kayle ultimate enough to try and mitigate that huge CC, that uptime that they need, right? So Obviously, a lot of burden on this Yone, right, to try and find those decisive angles, just to absolutely obliterate a key carry. Is it the Corki? Is it the Ezreal? Can they, you know, juke out that fate sealed? Most times they haven't been able to. So it does feel like this next team fight, if it is going to conclude at a Baron, or if it is going to be drawn out all the way to an Infernal Soul for either team, I think it's all going to come down to just pure patience on summoners coming back.
Yeah, but I mean, patience, I still feel like it favors Gravitas in that respect, right?
Sure.
Like, they have the composition that should be patient, that can afford to be
The poke, yeah.
patient. Yeah, the Yone pick. Also, the big thing for me is, like, they don't split push. They've never split pushed.
Yeah,
Like,
full
this
ARAM.
whole game, yeah. Like, the Yone with teleport hasn't been in a side lane once. No one's keeping the Gnar busy. They're allowing him to just stack Mega and group up for these team fights. We are just seeing a very rough and rowdy 5v5 in mid lane at all times.
We welcome your poke. We just think we're
Yeah.
better, which is a scary prospect. As we load back in again, fingers crossed, this is the last pause.
No more squat reps. No more pauses, please.
We're standing up. We're excited. We're ready to see how this one does conclude as we return to a full 5v5 in that mid lane.
Still priority belonging to Gravitas, though. Baron, as stated prior, is the only objective on the cards for 3 more minutes. Gravitas going to clear away a bit of that vision control. We are looking at one fight to decide this game. Mid lane inhibitor broken for Mammoth. Means they cannot afford to lose a fight, or there is a super highway straight to the Nexus. Ready to go for Gravitas.
Mikru cheeky with his soul there. True shot barrage just going to pad them down ever so slightly. Sorcerer's Grudge obviously going to help out in that fashion as well.
No control wards here for Mammoth, though. They posture in mid lane, they pressure in mid lane. But neither team really has the vision left in their inventories without resetting here. This becomes a very blind game of League of Legends. You can see some teleports being used from base straight towards mid by Mikru. We spoke about the potential for split pushing. He's got double lifesteal items with an Infinity Edge, but he's not going to consider it at all.
Meifan and DaJeung will have their flash up at the very same time, as will Toppy and... or rather, yeah, the Yone and the Gnar will have it at the same time. DaJeung is back up, Meifan not too far away. So it does really feel like, to me, we are just playing it out super patiently. Everybody understanding that this is the last team fight. We need literally every advantage, be it stopwatch, GA, elixirs, or those summoners.
Not really seeing any poke thrown yet, no harass thrown yet. This Ezreal and this Corki need to find a safe space to posture aggressively. You can't really hit the Yone with harass either with double lifesteal items. He'll just bring it back. Kalista also with a decent amount of lifesteal has gone towards the LDR, so a bit more armor penetration there at the very least. And Kayle has completed Azonia's Hourglass. No Void Staff, but does enough damage.
We're getting full builds. I mean, Piglet literally just now completed at 37 minutes of Prowler's Claw. He's one of the exceptions, obviously, to a champion that can complete mythics. Very different timings, but it really does show that it is a game that is certainly being drawn on out. 45 minutes being the number to beat right now as the longest game. And if these teams are ever too hesitant to say that the Baron is the A game, then we might just be having that little bit of a standoff where it's like, who goes for the Drake first or who goes for the Baron?
Well, it's the Soul now, right? Neither team willing to lose the game at Baron when an Infernal Soul exists in a minute. You've got a Corki that should have package pretty soon. He's moving fast enough that I would say he does right now. That's really early, if that is true. Mikru being hyper aggressive in his posturing. Yeah, the package is there. Do they make the play for Baron instead?
They're just trying to force it. Do they
This
not
is
want to draw this
bold.
out? Yeah, they don't want to go for the 50-50 on either objective.
The top wave's really
It's just going
good.
down so quickly though,
Baron's
Rusty.
less than half. That's a Mega Gnar.
Mammoth have to face check. Mega is there. It's timing out really, really well. Look at DaJeung completely unsighted. On vision is Mikru. Jumps in there with a charm right now. No, he's completely airpulled. He's flashed away. That's the shutdown for voice. DaJeung completely separated from the rest of the team. Mega Rocket connects. Papryze goes invulnerable. They found the Llenia. Udyr is dead.
Oh!
Look at Corki.
Papryze just gets nuked out of existence. DaJeung has got the Yuumi on him so they could still have a fighting chance.
Oh!
They're going.
The chance! Oh, what a legend. What an absolute legend. In they go.
That's
He's
one.
done golden voice. Has to go in. Stun. Connects. DaJeung with the heal.
That's three.
What on earth? DaJeung is literally saying, boys, believe.
He's going to push down mid lane right now. The Yone's hitting the Infernal Drake.
No shot.
He's just given away the soul. How do you get 3 kills? Lets him lifesteal off the Drake. It's just going to be an inhibitor.
Soul claimed. Respawn time is the first backup will be LEG, followed by Papryze.
Look at the damage of the last
seconds.
team fight. That's
It's
disgusting.
literally Corki versus the world.
3 minions. Mikru clears this one out perfectly fine, but has no health. But it means he buys space. He buys time. You've got 5 seconds on Papryze.
Just enough.
3 seconds on LEG. Teleports are going to come in. Gravitas. They've decided this is it.
They've decided we're winning right now. LEG primed and ready with the ultimate ready to go. Looking to try and find that dash engage. Looking to try and knock them all up. Toppy's dead. They're onto Corki. DaJeung surely. Surely DaJeung dies. The GA now finding a little bit of value. Floppy assassinated as he goes to the afterlife.
Teleporting bottom.
Unbelievable.
They're going straight bottom. The teleports are going to come in. Mammoth have won the team fight this time around. Gravitas don't know when to call it quits on the play. They suffer greatly for it.
So
there should
close.
be enough time for Mammoth to end this game. I don't think the Llenia has enough gas in the tank as a full tank Udyr to stop this. He has to cut the wave. Probably sacrifice his life to cut the wave. But teleport comes in and denies that one outright.
Papryze going to look to try and go on towards Llenia here, who just wants to draw the minions away, wants to bait him away, wants to buy more time for those respawns. But now Mammoth are going to do literally what Gravitas did only moments prior. Let's end this game. Nexus turret #1. Now make it #2. On towards the Nexus itself. Mammoth put an absolute rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, I mean, you could say they pull a rabbit out of a hat that Gravitas put in that, right? Like, they were given that opportunity on a silver platter. Both teams. I mean, that was back and forth. It was definitely an entertaining game when it came to crunch in that single team fight. It was definitely messy still, though, Skimmy. It definitely wasn't the cleanest game of League. But it still came down to clutch individual moments. And it turns out that in the mid lane 1v1 between DaJeung and Mikru just one time extra was a little bit better.
Certainly was, and I have to feel for our audio engineers. As literally my casting descended into screaming, shouting, and hoping that they can mix it so your ears don't bleed. So there's that. Yeah, DaJeung, pretty good at Corki.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good at Corki, and then unfortunately there was just, you know, you guys talked about it in the cast, right? Forgot about Soul, went in, try and end the game. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to get the game done, and then as soon as that one team fight's over, everybody's in the respawn screen for far too long, and the game's just finished at that point. And me and Kitty were literally like bouncing off the walls in the greeter. Like, there was so many points where we were like, yep, Mammoth's got this done. Okay, Gravitas has got this done. Okay, now it's back again. Okay, now it's back again. And it's a ridiculous game between these two.
If you look closely in this game, you get punished because there's so many mini mistakes from these mechanics. But I really want to compliment Mikru. I think his Yone was extremely good, especially in this team fight where he got a 3-man knockup with his Q, and then it was followed up by an ulti. And I think he actually synergized extremely well with LEG's Rakan. So these team fights should have been in Mammoth's favor, but they did have a losing fight in that mid lane. And if I were to look at it and analyze it closely, it was because Papryze, the only AP damage on Mammoth, walked into the Corki package, burned to half HP. He saw his teammate getting slapped by Udyr. He gave the ulti to his teammate, and then Udyr was like, I'm gonna slap you instead, and he dies right here.
Yeah,
So
legit
that was
died to the package.
He legit died to the package, so that was quite unfortunate. I don't think he was focusing on himself. And of course, DaJeung's Corki at the very end, maybe he was a bit too impatient. Should have went for the Inferno Soul, especially when you are 2v1.
Show me it one more time.
Show me it one more time. But this was an absolute nuts team fight. Toppy missed his ultimate, which is quite unlucky. And Corki and Yuumi kind of just slide out just by the thinnest hair. And he does get a triple kill at the very end, which is extremely well played from DaJeung.
I mean, Papryze had a game, didn't he?
Kill just
He had a game, didn't he?
70-0. I mean, it's just two hyperscalers saying, my dad will beat up your dad. I'm stronger than you. But like the schoolyard bully had his final say.
You just see him, he's like stalking in the bushes here as well. You know that he was really wanting to try and get this game done. He knew that it was the right play to make, and as we said, triple kill there. Could have walked over towards the Drake, gotten that you know, Infernal Soul for his team, and then potentially that could have been, you know, maybe another team fight for them to have to go through to try and end this game. But I mean, as soon as everybody respawned here from Mammoth, it was kind of all over Red Rover. And I mean, what a crazy game between both these two teams. I think this is the reason why that we call these series bangers.
I think this is the prime example of ADC being the most miserable role there is in League of Legends, where you can't even beat an Udyr. and this Ezreal was just constantly getting flash ulted by everyone.
I mean,
so-
you're just watching Voice every single time get run down by the Udyr, clawing at him, and you're watching also in the same case, like Mikru just chasing at Ezreal, who's burning Arcane Shift, who's burning Flash, like saying, please, bro, like I'm trying to slow you down with some Qs, but like, just get out of my face. So on the damage graph, right, they're going to be very low down, but it all comes down to, right, once again, the Corki and the Kayle putting on all the bells and whistles, the tension from the delayed lobby into all the pauses to give us an absolute finale.
I mean, they really made us sweat for that one. They really made sure that it was a dragged-out affair to get that one done, but they eventually did get the dub. And Kitty, I believe that we have Papryze here on the line, so let's have a chat to him.
So Papryze, congrats on your win. That was probably one of the longer games we've had in the LCO. How are you feeling after such an eventful game?
Pretty sad. I feel like we should have won that game a lot faster, honestly.
Why do you think you should have ended the game a lot faster?
I mean, we got Kayle. Champs
Oh.
broken.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
believe you blind picked Kayle, so that was quite the Giga Chad move, as I would say. So we do have you guys playing Mikru today. So how is that different compared to the usual games with Fury?
There isn't much difference. There's a confidence issue with Mikru since he's brand new. He's very nervous. We had to tell him to just calm down at least 80 times in pre-game and 37 during game. So that was fun to deal with. But they're pretty similar. I think they're both good players, but they have slightly different champion pools, which is where we got the Yone for today.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly performed in that Yone today. My question, pertains to your champion today. This is the second time that you've played Kayle here, and you've been able to get yourself a dub against Peace and now against Gravitas. Is this maybe something that you guys might be relying on a little bit more in the future?
I mean, I don't know, if people just don't ban first 3, yeah, why not? Champs OP.
I mean, with stats like that, how can you go past it?
And what was your emotions when you guys saw DaJeung getting a triple kill, and then you guys were... I think you guys stole Inferno Drake, and then it was just this base race all going on. So what were the comms like for that final fight?
I didn't say anything. I don't even remember anything. All I remember was that I flashed in and got insta-killed. It was just a minor incident. So that's it. That's all I remember.
It was just a blink. It's okay. Go rest up, Papryze. You sure deserve it, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
It's a small blip on the radar. That's all it was. It was
Minor incident.
my game bugged, bro. Like
literally
it
dead.
bugged out.
He's just been in a car crash and come out and be like, what happened? We won the game.
Dude,
Sweet.
that was weird.
He's just like, yeah, that was just, I don't know. It was, I definitely didn't, whatever. It's a small little blip. We'll get past that. But
Far out.
speaking of an absolute, barn burner of a game, I guess it's time for us to start talking about the DaJeung MVP. I feel like there's going to be a whole lot of members that are floating around the conversation.
Nah, I
right
got
now.
two. I got two for
I
you,
got two as
okay? One is Mikru, because
Yep.
I think he actually solo won them the game, even though we can highlight Kayle being an OP scaling champion. I think Mikru actually won the game. The second one is Ali G.
Yeah.
The reason that I bring him up is if you go back to that Baron fight, where it was like an insane Gravitas engage angle from Toppy on Gnar, it was the Rakan ult that charms him to stop the combo.
Yeah.
So that alone single-handedly saved the game for them. And then he was obviously a big part of their engages earlier.
They both had really big moments, as you say, right? Both Mikru and LG had individual moments, right, where they won in crucial team fights. Maybe you give it to LG just because he made it, the airball and the Gnar happen there at the Baron, right? Which still had its sketchy moments where Gravitas could nearly end the game, but it's so hard to actually choose between the two of them. I'm at a 50-50. I'm always wanting to do a cop-out and just say,
Coin flip it.
who do you decide?
I'm going to be the splitting vote. So you're going... Wait.
We're both like
Oh, you're
50-50
both
on Mikru and
50-50.
LG.
Don't wanna
I'm
pick
kind
one?
of leaning towards Mikru because he did get that Inferno Soul in the very end, and that actually played a huge part in terms of the damage, where DaJeung got kind of bursted at the very end. So without that Inferno Soul, maybe we wouldn't have had today's game.
Maybe we might be able to get the answer right now. Let's see who out there MVP is here between Mammoth and Gravitas. On your screens, it is going to be
Yay!
Mikru, his first game here in the LCO, getting it done, played insane on the Yone. There were so many different times where we saw this guy absolutely popping off. And I mean, if his team's able to calm him down, he's able to play like that in the future, maybe this guy's a bit of a superstar.
115 don't be nervouses, to be clear, is all it takes for him to find a win in this game. The big thing is that, like, for a young, nervous player, first game in a professional league, nerves are expected. But to still have the eyes to see engage angles, I think is actually quite special and something that should be celebrated.
To see and act, right? You can
Yeah.
obviously see the moments and be postured in the right areas and have the vision control, but the ability to act upon it and make it look ever so good. I mean, that first play, right, with the flash Q 3-men knock up into an ultimate. I mean, I was just like, hang on a minute. This is the first time he's played a pro game, so showing the proficiency and obviously getting having a bit of a laugh up against his mate.
He is the #1 Yone in OC.
He
Guys,
is!
go
The
check
YouTube
that
video was
YouTube
true.
video
Put it into
out
Google.
right now.
That's all you need to do.
It was
Mikru.
true. Everyone's going to be looking at that highlight clip right now, and they're going to be making sure that that is 100% the #1 at Yone in O. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a break here. Game number 3 is just on the horizon. This is the test for the top. Dire Wolves and the Chiefs going head-to-head. Let's see who comes out on top.
They found the Llenia. Udyr is dead.
Oh!
Look at Corki.
Papryze just gets nuked out of existence. DaJeung has got the Yuumi on him, so they could still have a fighting chance.
Oh!
They're going.
The chance. Oh, what a legend. What an absolute legend. In they go.
That's
He's
one.
on golden. Voice has to go in. Stun, connect. DaJeung with the heal.
That's 3.
What on earth?
Hey, look, menu pong.
Take guesses.
Am I LeBlanc?
No.
No.
One second.
Gnar.
No.
No.
Oh, that was kind of close.
Nice try. Now, do you want to take it off and have a look at who you are?
I'm it.
Yeah.
There's no way.
A little bit of pain there. I
There's
felt
no
that.
way.
I felt like that was a
That was a
difficult
tough one.
Meifan is currently illegal.
Oh no, Meifan is being caught out on his own. It's the kick. That's a great ultimate for the invulnerability clips. He can't be hit. The wave to disengage the Everfrost. I don't believe Meifan. What am I seeing? The greatest bait in history. The resets it in. A double kill for Voice. The kills are being found. Peace. They thought they had a 1. Flank. Winter's going to go for the fight these up. The instant flash away there from Kisse. Winter might just fallen down as a result of this one. He's in a lot of trouble. He's going to go for the fight regardless. Down comes the entrance. In goes the Galio. He got 25 stacks in his mid-eyes and he just don't miss. It's an ace. It's a quadra kill. Looking for it. There is the Tempered Fate. Oh, he's disengaged away out of the chains of this Nocturne. The charm connects onto the Wukong, and he has been shut down by the Bard. There's the Everfrost, but the knockback away. No, Seaman! He's just absolutely been broken. It's a double kill. Unreal. Phyto in a losing situation takes 2 to the grave with it.
Again, Chiefs ready.
Looking for it. That's a massive 3-man cyclone. Rage jumps in the shadow, he gets exhausted, doesn't even mind.
And just a nasty combo from the Chiefs. They make it look so easy. It's hard to even get excited with how clean they make that work.
Of potential to stay topped up and healthy with a Sunder into a death stance. Right, there's another hook, and that's another member that's going to be flashed away from into a triple knock-up, into a back-to-back knock-up. Unbelievable. Kanga just want to close this one out.